All right. So how are you doing, Chris?
Hi, Vladimir. Everything's fine. Thank you. How are you?
Very nice to see you, and
Yeah.
your optimistic smile as always. Thanks for joining, and welcome to everybody. If you see my hand here, everything is fine. Just uh, too much sliding with the kids on the snow, and was trying to block the the slide, and here is the result.
Yay, yay, yay.
So thanks for joining us in this podcast. Today I'm hosting here Chris Svorcik. He is from the Elite CurrenSea. Very, very great reputation company. They deliver signals and automated trading solutions. And today in this podcast, Chris will tell us basically about their Zeus or Zeus, how you pronounce it even correctly.
I
Uh,
think both are possible indeed. Yeah.
Most possible, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Zeus EA. This is one of these EAs that surprisingly well for me perform amazingly. So Chris will basically answer the questions, the advantages of the robots, the little details you need to understand if you decide to use this robot, all these little features that make it special. And the best part of it, as far as I'm aware, you are working on this robot with a Swiss
Yes.
company, and you are
Yeah.
managing already over than 1 million there. Is that right?
Uh, we will. That's the certificate obligation by the end of this year. At this moment, not yet, but yeah, it's either has that million within a year or it cannot continue. So yeah, that's the legal obligation indeed. Yeah.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah.
So before we dig deeper into the Zeus robot and all the features we have about it, tell us, and the listeners, of course, I know you pretty
Yeah.
well, about yourself, your company, how long you've been doing that.
Yeah, definitely, of course. Yeah. So, well, basically, I mean, it's been 15 years I've been looking at the markets, trading. Last 10 years as my full-time passion and hobby. So, yeah, I mean, I love it. I love looking at charts. I love looking at technical analysis, waves, trading. So, last 7 years, together with Nenet, we have our own website, where we share our analysis, our 2 cents on what's
Seven
going on
years
in the
already?
market, and yeah, we have systems, and about 2 years ago, started to look into automated solutions and designing them, developing them with our partners, or maybe 3 years ago, in fact, already. Yeah, 3 years ago. Time flies. And yeah, just as a way to diversify, get more income, help traders as well, and also at the same time be more flexible with the time point of view. Day trading, scalping, quite intensive. So automated trading just helps, that schedule relief a little bit, still able to earn something
Especially now
where you're
as
not behind the screen.
as a
Yeah.
parent, now it's even more sensitive.
So yeah, besides that, won some FX Street awards with Nenet. Uh, what else is there to mention? Yeah, we that Swiss wealth management firm, of course, started working with last year. That was very cool. That's something that is a highlight. When a Swiss firm wants to invest seven figures, that's cool. So I was very happy with that indeed. And
Fantastic.
last but not least, managed to write an ebook as well about how I see the charts. So I thought I like writing, so that was a cool kind of thing I like to do. That's a quick background then.
So, as you mentioned that, what's your plans like for? I'm not going to ask if you future like 10 years forward. In
Yeah.
our reality, looking so far, it's kind of funny. But you've been, as you describe your journey, you've been involved, and we know each other pretty much many years now.
Yeah.
And I was always reading your stuff about the waves and your predictions. They were very, very accurate. It was very. It's hard to find really high accuracy waves traders. You know, the saying about edit waves: as many
Yeah,
traders, as many views.
yeah.
So it was really good to follow. But again, with all the activities recently and trading taking part and the automated solution trading part, it keeps you busy. What's the plans for coming future?
Well, I think more EAs. We are already have one extra EA that has a year of live trading.
Okay.
I have an EA that doesn't have live trading, but we're working on creating it, testing it, that kind of work. And then at two, so slowly but surely expand that. Otherwise, I think yeah, just really maybe make it more simpler for traders to um, kind of find a balance in the risk they take, because some EAs are volatile, so it's not always easy to live through drawdowns. So to make it find a balance in maybe in a portfolio of EAs, so that they could find more consistency or more reward and risk at the same time, so that they can make kind of a maybe a balance that suits their personal taste, because every trader has a different risk appetite. So I think
Definitely,
those are the two main things for this year, I would say. Yeah.
definitely. All right, let's talk about Zeus.
Yeah.
That's the the subject of this call at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about it, because as far as I'm aware, it's not fully yours. You are cooperating with other traders, with other vendors here.
Yeah.
So if you can tell who stands behind it, how do you guys know each other, and how does it work?
Yeah, so Zeus EA, it's based on, well, first of all, it's traded only on the euro dollar 5 minute chart, or at least that's how we trade it, at least.
Okay.
And it's a combination of price action on higher time frames like the daily chart. It does some simple technical analysis on lower time frames, 5 minute chart, and it has a grid trading aspect to it. Um, and it combines those factors with a tad of martingale to as the trades develop and things become more likely, more probable, so that you kind of compensate maybe some losses, or try to get more wins. It adds that as well. So it's a combination of that. Um, Takes a decent number of trades, so it's automated, of course, obviously, 100%.
Okay.
And yeah, just trades the market, trades what it sees, instead of taking a big stake on a certain direction. It takes a lot of little trades, trying to catch these turns and twists along the way. So I think, yeah, that's basically, I would say, main summary. We work together with uh, acquaintances, partners of our team. So our team is Nanit and myself, and Nikita as well in the background. And we know these guys for 3 years already. I, at least, Nikita longer. And yeah, they made this mathematical model for Zeus EA. We helped them with the technical side, with the price action side, and yeah, that's how we came to this. We tested it for almost 5 years, which is really long for a
Wow.
5 minute chart. So it passed with flying colors, I would say. And we've been live trading it at least 1.5 years, maybe a bit longer. So that's also quite a decent track
If
record,
it
I would say.
survived in the Trump period,
Yeah.
the future should be promising.
Yeah.
All right, very well. You know what? I like what you mentioned about it, that it's 5 minutes and it's only the euro dollar. I mean, diversification on the scalping part could be extremely hard. If you try to catch so many instruments with the same
Yeah.
logic, it's not going to work. Each instrument at the end of the day has its own life, its own rhythm.
Yeah.
So you can't expect, for example, I don't know, Euro New Zealand to behave the same like the euro dollar. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, right? The money flow in these instruments is different. And even though in periods the technique could be the same technique, but you can't expect the same thing. So it's very good.
Yeah.
The focus here is straightforward. Um, you
I
mentioned that,
agree. I noticed the same. I mean, I started with a way broader focus 10 years ago, and it's just more narrow now, really more focused on euro dollar and pound dollar than anything. Indeed, I agree. Yeah.
awesome. You mentioned this the hedge fund, the Swiss hedge fund guys.
Yeah.
How long are you working with them in these terms, managing the account? Uh,
Yeah.
is that a company that also have like is that what they do? Like they're taking robots and just run that with funds, or they also do different things with you?
No, they were from a different like financial sector. They were more conservative investments before that. I think this is a new kind of direction for them, but yeah, they wanted, I think, to find a direction that can provide a little bit more exciting returns. So yeah, it was exciting. I think I think we started talking and negotiating this. It's almost a year ago, in fact. Before you iron out the details and put the dots on the I, it takes some time. But finally, we started trading in November 2020. So it's been a few months now. But yeah, as I said, it really took some time to get all
Yeah,
details
it
prepared and
normally
stuff.
does with such companies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For I don't know, maybe I can mention even the firm because I don't want people to think that we're just creating this. If you don't mind, yeah. So wealth management firm is a GFO. So they part of their investments are in this EA, and yeah, you can get this is the EA we're presenting here. So it's an interesting opportunity, I think, for everyone. Um, and yeah, basically, it's a Swiss certificate that is focused on. So it's a sole purpose certificate in Switzerland that can accept bigger sums. You have to have a bigger sum to participate. And yeah, it's the goal is with that certificate only to focus EAs from us, and it has to, yeah, we'll have 1 million at a minimum, as I said, this year.
fabulous.
Yeah.
No, as amazing. And you know my approach in trading. As amazing everything looks, there are always the dark side, the downside.
Yeah.
Zeus looks super promising, and you will present it, I assume, in some slides or some website in a minute. But I watched it. I've been following it for a while. You know my skeptical points. I've been asking you back and forth many,
Yeah.
many times. It's important for the listeners also, right? Because as amazing everything could look like, there is always the dark side, there is always the downside, which you need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Before jumping into the ocean, you want to make sure there are no sharks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what could you say about it? What's the downside of these robots? What the users should be aware of?
Yeah, definitely. Well, okay, first it's I think trading with high leverage in general, is of course risky. I mean, that's a standard thing, right? Second is that the EA itself does not use stop loss, so not everyone is going to maybe feel comfortable with that, but it is taking a lot of positions in both directions. It closes the trade
So it's hedging
relatively
back and forth.
quickly. Yes, and it's there's a very active trade management. So I think that it might be on paper something that, like, that's something I might not like. Even I had that, but it really works well. That said, of course, drawdowns is something that can always occur. That's why we always kind of use about $2,500 per position, in a way, um, as preferred way to approach it. Because if you lose less, the drawdowns can at times get at the very max. Let's say it's what we've seen so far, into the 15, 1800. That doesn't mean it happens regularly or often, Most of the time, I mean, last 6 months, the drawdown was very shallow, to be honest. But can it happen? Yeah, you got to be ready for that. That's why we don't want to trade really with less than 2,000 or 2.5 preferably. So it's not a sum that everyone can afford to risk. So it would be great if it's lower, but yeah, that's the drawdown that you need that level so that you can survive those drawdowns.
I always believed, and I still do, that you can't make money without money. All these online fake beliefs that you can turn $100 into tree
Yeah,
money. It's it's
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
So definitely having some minimum is that does make sense. Okay, so you
yeah,
mentioned the drawdowns, which makes sense, especially with no stop loss period. But as far as I understand from you, this is as you mentioned, the management here is working in the
yeah,
both sides.
yeah.
So if the buys are not going in a good direction, there is a hedge or partial hedge in the sell direction. Is that is
Correct.
that is that so?
Yes, correct, indeed. And then you get some close profit to the downside. You might be losing a little bit on the upside, but you gain as well as you go down because it looks for price action on higher time frames and technicals on lower time frames, which work out well in many cases, but sometimes the market does something different, and then there are indeed hedges and yeah, active trade management to compensate that. Yeah,
Understood.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you also mentioned the worst drawdown there, which again makes sense and could happen. It's not
yeah,
often though, as far from what I saw from all the results. That's very not often thing. It's these drawdowns. It's once in
no.
a while.
Should I share my screen maybe with
Yeah, go
to
ahead. Go
show it?
ahead. Sure.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So actually, it's a little bit further. Um, this is what I prefer. I prepared beforehand. Let's skip that and just go to. This is my FX book. I can show you my FX book too, of course. No problem. But here's an image prepared. Yeah, this is from 1.5 years now. 1 year, 8 months, maybe to be precise, up 385%. And the yellow line indicates sometimes, as you can see, some drawdown that, where the equity is the open equity is down compared to the closed, but it doesn't happen often, as you can see here. There was one period, and here, but indeed, most of the time they're quite equal to each other, and you can't see the difference between those two lines.
Mhm.
So drawdown 46%. As I said, the drawdown can be more, but in this particular one, it was only 46%. But I also should say that when you look at a monthly perspective, the drawdown is almost, I mean, what we've seen in live trading always and in backtesting within a month, never at the end of the month, because when we look at the end of month results,
Mhm.
uh, any month we've had so far is positive. So the drawdown is actually occurs within that month.
Mhm.
Here you see the same, some small bits where the yellow line is detached from the red, but minuscule and doesn't happen too often.
Mhm.
Um, Same thing for here. I don't have the monthly results. Let me exit this screen here and show you the monthly results we have with this account. And you see it's these are the results here from a monthly perspective,
Mhm.
live trading, and in backtesting, you will see the same kind of vibe here,
Mhm.
where there's no monthly. Sorry, it's a bit slow. No monthly losses there.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, that
Very
I
very
think.
impressive then today.
So yeah, win percentage here you can see about 70%, profit factor about 1.5 in this. A lot of trades, almost 15,000 trades. So it's very active. You're going to see a lot of positions if you decide to join. Average trade length about 10 days. can show maybe more stats here as well. Let's see. You see only euro dollar hourly flow, with London being the most, daily flow quite equally distributed, as you can see. Risk of ruin very small, as you can see. It's less than 1% here. A quarter of a percent, 20% loss size. So very small. So yeah, those are some of the stats.
Very
We
nice.
can share those links, of course.
Sorry?
Yeah. No, we can share these links as well, I guess, later on.
Yeah. It's fair to mention that the direct link for the Zeus, for everybody who wants to learn more and participate in this project, then it will be right below the video in the description, also in the pinned comment. So feel free and go and check it out. I did want to ask you here a question, if you don't mind, of course. It's 5 minutes, and it's the buys and the sells could be simultaneously running in the management. How critical is the spread in this game?
Spread is not critical. Actually, EA can work with any spread as long as it's lower than 3 pips.
Which
And
is
yeah,
pretty much everywhere in the euro dollar.
yeah, difficult to find something that is more than 3 pips. Indeed, that would be
And if you find
nowadays.
then run away, definitely.
If it is more than 3 pips, that would be definitely run away. There are some other things to consider with the broker. You can use this EA with any broker you want, but there are some, let's say, tips we have, advices that are good to consider. As I said, max 3 pips. We're best market execution, not instant. 5-digit broker, levels with no more than 2 pips. With the stops, I think the validations, no commissions, decent leverage, minimum lot size micro, stop out level 20 to 30%, which you can find in your broker, overview. Hopefully, you can ask your broker about that. So these are some, especially some things are maybe more important than others. I mean, minimum lot size is really a must. Leverage is quite important. Commission too. But yeah, these are things to consider with the broker choice for this particular EA.
All right. Now the next question.
Yeah.
Which I assume would be fair fair to ask. You have several EAs already.
Yeah.
What's the advantages of this one over the other ones? Why Zeus?
Good. Sorry, I'm just scrolling to show you something. I think that maybe I'll show you this one. I think that with EAs in general, what we working with at least, there's volatility and drawdowns on a monthly basis. I like about Zeus EA the consistency and the fact that I think for traders there's less. The fear is not there with this EA because it just works more consistent in its performance on a monthly basis. I think it's difficult with some of our EAs to have that patience because sometimes you can have substantial periods of time where the EA goes sideways or has drawdowns, and living through those moments, I know myself, is not easy. I had the same, and it's kind of like crunching. And with this EA, I think just it's more relaxed to see every month a steady performance and then something that's really wild and volatile. So I think it's for many traders, I think that's going to be a big plus. And I think for me, it's a welcome diversification in my portfolio. I can handle both, but I think for a lot of traders, they're going to appreciate that kind of consistency, not be too scared about these bigger ups and downs that some EAs can have.
I personally find it maybe I'm wrong, but for this kind of strategies, and to be honest, I was in the long past, I was doing also this sort of martingale trading by myself, by different strategies I was applying. There is nothing wrong with that. The most important thing is to understand, as we discussed, the dark side and the the downside, right? What could happen?
Yeah.
Again, I might be wrong. I wouldn't recommend one to take all his money and the mortgage on the house and put it on into something that by itself brings with this sort of a risk. But with that sort of income and known coming possible risk, I find it brilliant. So thanks
Yeah.
for
Thank
sharing.
you, mate.
For sharing.
Yeah.
Looks
Thanks.
really
Yeah.
impressive. Really, it's well
Yeah.
done.
Thanks so much. Yeah. It's appreciate those words. I totally agree. With the risk side, you gotta always risk something you can afford to lose within a diversified approach, preferably if possible, of course, but always with risk capital, definitely. We're doing that too. And if I feel more comfortable with knowing that, okay, I can afford to lose that, whatever happens, happens. So it gives a peace of mind, I think, to any investor. That's key. That said, yeah, it's so far very stable. Past is not a guarantee for future. As always, standard things that are said
We
about
wish we
this,
could
but
get guarantee.
no, but yeah, it is what I've seen so far. In 1.5 years and back testing and I see the traders also reach out to us and say, "Oh, I really like just the calmness, of this EA." You might not expect that, when maybe how I'm describing the EA, but it actually the performance I think is really what matters most for the calmness, and I think a lot of traders experience that with this
I
EA.
think the periods like that, like we experienced on the last, I don't know how many months, for the euro dollar, when the ranges are balanced, when you see clear balance on the instrument, I think that's that's the best period for such EA for
Yeah,
to thrive.
yeah.
How's the feedback so far? I mean, you've been running it for several months now. How's the feedback from users?
How's the feedback? Yeah, the feedback positive. I mean, I haven't seen any negative one. I mean, people, as I said, they really like that consistency. They like the fact that, um, yeah, it's what we mentioned is what happens. So, as I said, hopefully I will continue like that. But they like the consistency. I think that is really the key thing. There's a consistent flow. There is not like 5 days no trades and one day a ton of risk. It is it's very balanced in this regard. So yeah, I think that and it's fully automated, of course. There's also I can maybe show you that here. I just showed some images of the fund, a bit more details there. But yeah, I can maybe go to that point to to give you an idea maybe of what
Oh yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
what you can
That
expect
was
maybe.
actually prepared my next question.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm beating you to it then.
what to expect? I mean, okay, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
yeah. So it's not only fully automated, which is great with everything, right? The entry, the exit, the management of the trade. You got nothing to do there. Actually, you shouldn't be doing anything on it. But it's also fully installed by us. So yeah, no action needed from you. In fact, it's not good. It includes a VPS as well. So that all these things you can expect from us. And I think also important is that it's okay to join at any time, because if an EA that has a more volatility, if you're
Right.
starting at the peak, that's something we noticed is really, really tricky for a lot of traders, because you know, if you start off with profit and then you have a drawdown, you can mentally, you're more able to survive that. But if you start at the peak and then go through a drawdown, that's just very tough in the psychology. So this doesn't have that aspect. It's good to join anytime, and you have the freedom to choose your broker that you want. It's not tied to any broker there. So a lot of things are done for you, and there's a lot of freedom in a way at the same time. So I think that's a great combi.
All right, that's fantastic. Um, so the, thanks for bringing it up. It was going to be my next question here. Again, I would like to repeat for all those of you who want more detail and to dig deeper and to learn again, all the features, look for the performance, etc., then you can find the link directly below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. Chris, anything else the users you want to tell the audience, the users, the listeners about, or something they need to know, something from you?
Uh, well, I think that, I mean, just to emphasize this still a little bit, is that I think just installing, making sure it's running correctly, having the VPS is really a big benefit, because
Oh yeah,
having an EA is one thing, but having it run smoothly, properly, making sure it's acting as it should, is again a whole different thing. And if you're doing it on your own, you're going to be doubting, is it, working as it should? I think not having that removed, that kind of worry or uncertainty removed, because we're installing it, it's automated trading, it includes the VPS, it, knowing that it's running as it should, because we're looking at that, I think is a big plus. So I just wanted to just make sure that everyone, really understands that part. But yeah, here you can see an example. Also, the TPs are moving, not only the trade management, but TPs are moved as well as the market develops. So it's very dynamic, and I think that's it.
It's very important for the
Yeah,
management to be part of the market, not just set
yeah,
and forget and hope for good. Stay dynamic as the market. It's
yeah.
very, very important thing here. All right, fantastic. So you can stop sharing if you would like, or unless there's anything else you want to.
Yeah, I think
Oh yeah, that's
the
very important.
how to
I
join, maybe,
forgot to ask
if they
you
want.
pricing. How do you offer it for your users, and what's the options available?
Well, there's a special discount for your audience, for your followers, for your fans,
Thank you very
for
much
for
for
people
that.
who know you. This is, and people feel free to check, but it's, I think, about at least half, I think 60% less than our current prices. So it's a special offer for February
Thank you.
2021. So yeah, it's quite convenient. It's either a monthly or a yearly. So it's done on purpose so that traders that are like, I'm not sure, I'd rather try it first. You can do that with the monthly. So you have that ability just to, for a low rental fee, to check it out.
Mhm.
And for those that are thinking, okay, I would like to try it, you can choose also the yearly option, because then you get a discount. For those that are more sure about that, or if you try the monthly, then you can switch to a yearly, for instance, or the lifetime if you want. So yeah, there's a couple of options depending on how interested you are, and yeah, how you want to join. This is valid for anything between 2K and 15K, 15,000. So a lot of space, to
Right.
trade. If whether you traded with 2.5, 5, or 10 or 15, it doesn't matter. VPS is included uh, in all these instances, all these choices. Sorry. And yeah, so you can basically monthly or yearly or lifetime. That's for you to
Beautiful.
decide.
So once again, Chris, thank you very much, first of all, to make such a special discount. Much appreciated. And yeah, I totally love your variety here. For whoever wants to try it out for months or several months, you have a special offer, and whoever prefers go for lifetime and they make a huge savings, also
Yeah.
included option. So thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so you can stop sharing the screen then
Oh yeah.
again,
Yes.
and I would like to take this opportunity and to thank you very much for joining. I hope the users would be able to see all these advantages you were talking about. You mentioned something in the middle, which is correct. At the moment, you mentioned something in trading, especially not using stop loss. That's instantly like, whoa! The moment that many people like
Yeah.
like a block,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, how can you not control the risk? But when you stop for a second and you understand the risk management on the go, uh, all the downsides we discussed about it and the expectations in it makes a total sense. And very well done, guys. Really, it's because I saw more than like 50 martingale robots on the decade online. They all like for periods. They can run for few months.
Yeah.
And that's all. They explode because the management they have, it's terrible. And the market always will find a way to clean such not protected or not managed robots, right? So it's very good to see you guys have the management and very dynamic. So it's not just buy. The system knows to rotate when it's buy period, when it's sell period, and to manage in between. That's brilliant. So well done.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris. Best to you and your family. Stay safe. And thank you very much for taking the time for making it. I hope again the listeners would enjoy this podcast. Just one question. The special offer you mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will keep it on the table for how long?
It's for February 2021, so the entire month, so plenty of time to.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, and if anyone wants to join afterwards, so it's going to be the regular prices of yours.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Understood. Again, appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And say hi to Nenad.
Yeah, I will do that.
And Nikita.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to you guys.
Thank you so much for this talk, the time, and for talking to your audience as well, and looking forward to great times together.
Thank you very much. Wishing you a great 2021.
Yeah, you too, mate. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for everybody who joined us today. Again, I hope you find all the answers you might have here. If you have any questions, feel free to contact, and both myself and Chris, of course, and his team would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you for your time. Best to all. Stay safe. See you soon. Ciao.